Welcome everybody to Tech Chaser Melbourne. In this video we're going to talk about which phone to choose from between the Pixel 5 and the Samsung S20FE. Let's go. On the 1st of October we saw on Google's launch night in event where they released two new phones, the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G. And it's pretty much what we all expected. I'm going to talk about the Pixel 5 in this video and leave the Pixel 4a 5G in another video. The Pixel 5 has a 6-inch OLED display with 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM. The phone is powered by a Snapdragon 765G processor and has the Titan M chip for security. The phone has now confirmed that it has a dual camera setup with a 12.2 megapixel wide camera and a 16 megapixel ultra wide camera, and as mentioned in our leaks in our last video, it does have the 107-degree field of view and an 8 megapixel front camera. The phone has a 4000 mAh battery with wireless charging and reverse charging, and the phone is IP63 water resistant. The Pixel 5 will be coming into Australia on the 15th of October and will be selling at $999, and pre-orders are now available. All of this sounds very good on paper and everything, but what about servicing for these phones down the track? As a mobile technician, I've been in this industry for over 10 years, and I can say that this phone is going to be one phone that can be serviced and repaired by third-party people without killing your budget. But it can only be confirmed when I get my hands and do a full teardown on this phone. Samsung is about to release the Samsung S20 Fan Edition. So what is this Samsung S20FE? The Samsung S20FE is what I call the mid-range phone, and this is why. As we all know, when it comes down to producing a flagship phone, they tend to use the best of the best parts to produce the best smartphone that can be released in the market during that time. But what about this phone? I'm going to use the iPhone SE 2020 for a better explanation. The iPhone 2020 is basically a combination of the past phones, or as I call it, leftover parts, and with some small adjustments and modifications to make a budget phone. That's why I think that the SE 2020 is a big seller. Smart move, Apple. I'll give you the thumbs up for this. Now, Samsung has taken a similar approach to this with what they call the Fan Edition series, which will see a lot more of the FEs coming out more in the near future. The S20FE uses the Super AMOLED display with the 120 MHz refresh rate and is covered with a plastic backing. With the S20FE 5G model, you'll be getting the Snapdragon 865. For the non-5G model, you'll be getting the Exynos 990, which is like the S20 here in Australia. The camera on the phone has a 12 megapixel wide camera and an 8 megapixel telephoto camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 32 megapixel front camera. The S20FE has a 4,500 mAh battery, just like its old friend the S20 Plus, and has wireless charging as well as reverse charging. The S20FE will sell at $999, while the S20FE 5G model will be selling at $1,149. With the pandemic still around and the sales of the S20 series have dropped, I think that Samsung are trying to get people to buy a phone with similar specs as their flagship phones, but at a cheaper price, which is very similar to iPhone's SE's strategy by Apple. I like the idea of the FE's phones, but in terms of serviceability is something that I want to question them. If they are bringing a phone like this and it's the same as a flagship phone for servicing, then what's the point of really getting the phone? This is why I call this the mid-range phone. It has some of the stuff from their flagship phones, but when it comes down to servicing this phone, it'll be treated as a flagship phone. So there's a double-edged sword in this as well, because they're creating a cheap phone, but you're getting the services of a premium phone. So when it comes down to serviceability and repairs, it's treated as a premium phone. And for that price bracket that they're giving it at the moment, you gotta really ask yourself again, Is it really worth the actual price for it to actually be serviced? Or is it another idea of Samsung saying you can buy it, and if you break it, you can pretty much buy another one? Unless they do something in regards to this matter and make it affordable to service, then I would get the phone only if I'm a person who is very careful and is only looking to use the phone for around the 2-year mark. So between the two phones, my choice will be the Google Pixel 5, and here is why. For $999, I'll be getting the Snapdragon 765G processor compared to the Samsung's Exynos 990, meaning in terms of power consumption, the Snapdragon is more efficient to power, and I have to pay an extra $150 for a Snapdragon processor which is only a 765. Come on Samsung, you gotta do better than this. Not only that, but when it comes down to servicing the Pixel, any third party can do it at a reasonable price. However, if you would love the brand of Samsung and you can't afford the S20 series, then the Fan Edition is something to consider about. So what phone will you choose between the Pixel 5 and the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE Edition? Leave your comments below. Please like and subscribe to our channel. This is Tech Chaser Melbourne, signing out.